time traveling down this hard and rocky road. We're all just trying to survive, walking together and sharing the load, doing all we can to stay alive. I believe the journey's nearly over. I believe these troubled times will end. I believe we'll find a better place just around the bend. We may be weary, and sometimes we just don't know how we can keep on keeping on. Take one day at a time and trust that history will show. When we're united, we are strong. I believe the journey's nearly over. I believe these troubled times will end. I believe we'll find a better place just around the bend. It's 8 o'clock on a Sunday. Regular crowd shuffles in. There's an old man, he's sitting next to me, making love to his tonic and gin. He said, son, can you play me a memory? I'm not really sure how it goes, but it's sad and it's sweet, and I knew it complete when I wore a younger man's clothes. La la la, la la la, la la la, la la la, la la. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody. I hope the few out there are in the mood. You got us feeling all right. Now John at the bar, he's a friend of mine. He gets my drinks for free, but he's quick with a joke, or he'll light up his smoke. But there's some place that he'd rather be. He said, John, I believe this is killing me. There's a smile run away from his face. Oh, I know I could be a big movie star if I could get out of this place. La 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 la, la 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 la, la la la. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you've got us feeling all right. Pretty good crowd for Sunday. And the manager, stressed as she is, she gives me a smile.
Phew. Be still, my heart.
It was literally 1 minute 30 seconds to go, and Rachel was up doing something else, and she'd forgotten to give us a key to get into it. And with 1 minute 36 to go, she
But we're here.
pumped it in. And
We're
there we
here.
are.
Thank
And
you,
we're back
Rachel,
on.
for rescuing us.
Indeed.
Even though you're at work.
And how are you, Sue?
I'm all right.
You're all right now?
I'm all right. Giving you a smile.
She was ready to kill.
Well, I was all calm up until I just went to press the button and the button wasn't there.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Hey ho.
You had a good week?
I've had a lovely week.
You've had a busy week,
I've
haven't
had a
you?
busy week. I've had a very busy week.
You know, you've been doing stuff, not even stiff.
Stiff?
Well, actually, strangely.
Don't go there. Don't go there. He's very rude about my new job. I know where he's going. I know where his head's going.
All the jokes.
All the jokes.
You've been dealing with stuff and stiffs. So
I've been dealing with lovely people who've lost their loved ones.
look, if you can't laugh at this stuff, you're in real trouble, all right? You know, it's Mental Health Awareness Week this week, and we've got a special guest in for you tonight, but at really no expense spared, a healthcare professional, no less, who lectures in the stuff. Paul McCreary is coming in.
Fantastic.
And I just want you to look at the hat.
They are very impressed with the hat.
The hat.
Very
Oh,
impressed.
they like
with
this
the
one
hat.
better,
They like
do
the
they?
hat. Yes, I like the hat actually. This was it a charity shop in Scotland?
Why do you have to ruin it? We could have said this
'Cause
is the
it's
one
so
we
much
got
fun.
from Nashville in Tennessee, and people would have believed it. Somebody commented on it today, this week when I was doing the assessments at the University of Cambridge. That's a very lovely hat, actually.
It is a very lovely hat.
So there we go.
And
anyway,
it keeps the sun off your face and your neck, which is good.
sorry.
It keeps the sun off your
I
face.
thought it
Keeps
people
the
from
light
looking
off
at
your
me.
face. We can't see
So
it.
we can't see us the best way.
That as well.
Because she knows that it's me. They've been coming to see, to forget about life
Oh yes.
for a while. I didn't know I did that because I broke up. There was a blues song that I was learning this. No, I have.
You were going to sing it. You were going
I
to sing
was
the
gonna
blues
sing.
song. That's not any...
Well, good morning, blues, blues, how do you do? Well, good morning, blues, blues, how do you do? I'm alright. Tell me how about you? I woke up this morning and the blues were walking down my bed. Well, I woke up this morning, the blues were walking round my bed. Well, went down for my breakfast, the blues were in my bread. Well, good morning, blues, blues, how do you do? Well, good morning, blues, and blues, how do you do? Well, I'm doing all right. Tell me, how about you? Now that's Mental Health Awareness Week with blues. Well, that's what it is, isn't it? When we get the blues, it comes upon us, and things happen. Anyway,
Where
it's a
were
pretty
you?
good crowd
It's only 7 minutes past. Got
for a
plenty of time.
Sunday. And the manager, she gives me a smile, 'cause she knows it's me they've been coming to see, to forget about life for a while. Oh, the piano, it sounds like a carnival, and a microphone, it smells like a beer. And we sit at the bar and put bread in my jar and say, man, what are you doing here? La la la, la la la, la la la, la la la, la la. Sing us a song, you the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you've got us feeling all right. Star. We welcome you back to another great song. This one, another great evening.
idea, Rachel and P on this one.
Here we go. One for the blues. This one. It's called "I Go to the Rock" for my album, whatever it is, traveling songs. Here we go. Where do I go when there's nobody else to turn to? Who do I talk to when nobody wants to listen? Who do I lean on when there's no foundation stable? I go to the rock. I know he is able. I go to the rock. I go to the rock for my salvation. I go to the stone that the builders rejected. I run to the mountain, and the mountain stands by me. When all the earth around me is sinking sand, on Christ the solid rock I stand. When I need a shelter, I go to the rock. Where do I go when the storms of life are threatening? Who do I turn to when those winds of sorrow blow? And is there refuge in the time of tribulation? I go to the rock. I know he is able. I go to the rock. I go to the rock for my salvation. I go to the stone that the builders rejected. I run to the mountain, and the mountain stands by me. When all the earth around me is sinking sand, on Christ the solid rock I stand. When I need a shelter, I go to the rock. Here we go, Mark. Give it a little bit of cleverness. One. Go to the rock when I need a shelter. 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 Well, I go to the rock for my salvation. I go to the stone that the builders rejected. I run to the mountain, and the mountain stands by me. When all the earth around me is sinking sand, on Christ the solid rock I stand. When I need a shelter, when I need a shelter, when I need a shelter, I go to the rock. Shelter, I go to the rock. I go to the rock for my salvation. I go to the rock the builders rejected. And I have to ask you, tonight, where do you go? Well, I suggest you go to the rock for your salvation. It's the most steady place you can go to. Hope that song helps. We did it on tour for ages, remember that, Sue? We used to go around.
We did. It was good fun, actually.
Actually, with the band, we did it.
It was very good fun. And I'd like to dedicate that to our Claire, who has her birthday this week. She's home for her birthday, yes.
How old is she? 30?
We have sent her something. You won't know anything about it, but we have sent her something.
Oh, have we?
Yes.
Oh, right. What do we send her?
I can't remember now, but I know.
What do you mean? You can't send her? Was it?
She's not had it yet.
A massive cash gift, was it? £3,000 or £4,000? Was that what it was?
I can't tell you, because she'll hear.
It won't be that. I'm just telling you that.
And Claire, if you haven't got it, you better find out where it is, because
might be a bookmark or a fridge magnet, something like that.
Postal order.
Postal order. Anyway, Now this one, I'm just going to... Who suggested this one, Old Man River? I can't remember.
Oh, this was Christine Wilmore. She said she wanted to hear your lovely resonant tones.
Oh, right, okay. Resonant tones. Here
Please,
they come.
Mr. Veira.
I better do this one. What am I going to do next? I think I might do... I can't run away. Yeah, I'm going to do that one. I'll take the hat off now. I've made the impression. Whatever impression that is. Anyway, so don't go away. And I'm going to do Blessed Assurance before Dan goes to bed. So that one, I'll do 2 or 3, all right? So this one, it's... it goes like this. Old Man River, that old man river must know something. Don't say nothing, just keeps rolling, keeps on rolling along. Don't plant potatoes, you don't plant cotton. Them that plants them is soon forgotten. Oh, but Old Man River just keeps rolling along. You and me, we sweat and strain, body all aching and racked with pain. Tote that barge, lift that pail. You get a little drunk and you land in jail. Oh, I get weary and sick of trying, tired of living. Well, I'm scared of dying, oh, but Old Man River just keeps rolling along. You and me, we sweat and strain, body all aching and racked with pain. Tote that barge, lift that bale. You get a little drunk and you land in jail. Gets weary and sick of trying. I'm tired of living and I'm scared of dying. Oh, but Old Man River, he just keeps rolling along. Just keeps rolling along.
That was
nothing, is it?
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Wonderful for me here, anyway.
I wanted this song.
What are we doing next?
Can't Run Away, I think.
Oh, okay.
Now, this is an interesting song because it goes way back 24 years. 24 years.
Yes, it was Life
Dave
and Soul,
Cook.
wasn't it, with Dave Cook?
Yeah, Dave Cook, who produced the album. He wrote this song
It's a very...
with
Was this one with Judy Mackenzie?
Judy Mackenzie Dunn.
Who wrote All That Matters.
All That Matters. And he showed me this one, and I hadn't come across it. And I thought it's a beautiful song. It's on Life and Soul, and beautiful version that he did. And I seem to remember he did one version like, oh no, that was King of Kings. He did the King of Kings, and that King of Kings was what blasted through the universe. That one, that time, that was Jared Cooper's King of Kings. And this one was, and people were quite moved by it. And I'm just going to play it for you. Now, Jerry has asked for this one.
He has, and I must admit, it crossed my mind this week, and I'm glad that you're doing it.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
good.
so here we go.
Okay.
I can ride on the wings of the morning. I can hide to the ends of the sea. I can hide in the sands of forever. But you will keep following me. I can laugh from my ivory towers. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Sorry, I couldn't resist it.
Are you hysterical?
I think I must be, actually.
What's going on with
Must
you?
be. I think my brain and my hands and everything else struggling.
I think what happened was years ago,
Yes. we
years
used
ago,
to-
I started doing that.
Yes,
That's what
you
it did.
did.
So in between, while I was recording it, when he went, I used to go, I can laugh from my ivory tower. Like that. And he went, could you stop this? This is a serious song.
Sorry.
So,
Okay.
right, this time.
Start again. I promise not to laugh.
So I'll tell you what you're
Or
going to
do any echoes or anything.
Just read.
Oh.
Just read. I set. Now, oh, yeah, you forgot this, didn't you?
I
Forgot to set this up.
I didn't forget
Right.
to set this up. So where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast.
I can ride on the wings of the morning. I can fly to the ends of the sea. I can hide in the sands of forever. But you will keep following me. I can laugh from my ivory towers, making plans for how great I shall be. I can sleep in my dreams of the future. Even there you'll be following me. I can run away, I can hide away, I can find a way from you. You have the words of life. See me and know my heart. Help me to stay and live closer to you. Closer to you. I could fall to the land of the dying, but your love would be bound to pursue. I could hide until darkness surrounds me, but the night could not hide me from you. I can't run away, I can't hide away, I can't find a way from you. You have the words of life, see me and know my heart. Help me to stay and live closer to you. I can't run away, I can't find a way, I can't hide away from you. You have the words of life, see me and know my heart. Help me to stay and live closer to you. Closer to you. Can we do, please? Hope you enjoyed that one. Can we do, please, for a friend of mine, actually, and it's for you've made Catherine Harris. Okay, this is now. People who know her will not be listening, but apart from I think possibly a few people, Elaine Hayward said she did a concert with her. Now, this is not preceding a friend of mine, who is a very esteemed colleague, and we worked together quite a lot back in the day. And she became quite a close friend, actually, in the business, as much as one becomes friends in the business. But she was a very kind,
she was a very kind lady.
soul.
And Elaine said to me that she picked up the news that Zena posted today that Catherine had died.
72.
And she said that back in 91, Elaine was in a choir that was singing with Catherine as the soloist, and she said she was so kind and she had the time to speak to people. And I think Catherine showed that example of actually it's how you make people feel that they remember, not how she sang, but actually how she made them feel.
Well, she sung. She was a brilliant.
She was a brilliant singer as well, but
she was. No, you're right. My experience of her was quite detailed in that we had many contracts together, particularly at Glyndebourne, at Covent Garden, and abroad. And we would always meet up and have dinner, chat, and she was just a lovely, gentle soul, actually. A very down-to-earth lady. She became... I went to the National Opera Studio as well, and she was 10 years my senior. And she was very knowledgeable. She was a very musical woman, very intelligent. So we talked music a lot of the time, but we talked family and talked about, her life and what we wish we'd not done and all that kind of... and the loneliness of the road and all of that stuff. When I heard the news, she lives locally here in Surrey, and I had no idea, and I didn't know she was ill. But it felt very sad today because I'd lost a person. But here it goes, and it goes, go rest high. I know your life on earth's trouble. Only you could know the pain. You weren't afraid to face the devil. You were no stranger to the rain. Go rest high on this mountain. Your work on earth is done. Go to heaven a shouting love for the Father and the Son. Oh, how we cried the day you left us. We gathered round your grave to grieve. I wish I could see the angels' faces when they hear your sweet voice sing. So go rest high on that mountain. Son, your work on earth is done. Go to heaven and shouting love for the Father and the Son. How we cried the day you left us. We gathered round your grave to grieve. I wish I could see the angel faces when they hear your sweet voice sing. So go rest high on that mountain. Girl, your work on earth is done. So go to heaven and shout love for the Father and the Son. Love for the Father and the Son. We will miss you. Thank you for the lovely person you were. That's also Richard in Whitney.
Whitney. Yes, his funeral's on the
Alison is
13th.
Alison, what am I calling Alison?
Val.
Val on the 12th. It's the funeral's on the 12th, and I'm going to.
Or even the 13th.
Is it the 13th? The 13th. It is the 13th.
So, yeah.
It is the 13th. Yeah, I keep saying it's the 12th, and we're going up to Whitney. I have to sing, and I have to say I am. As usual with these things, I'm dreading it because
You so want to do it, don't you? That's the thing. You want to do it because Richard asked for you to do it, and he loved what you did. And
but it wasn't that for me.
He was a lovely man, wasn't he?
He was a real example to me, because in a world where often examples are very hard to come by, he was one. And I visited him only the once he found out. And every time we tried to get together again, there was some problem.
Yeah,
he
you
wasn't
weren't
feeling
well.
he wasn't feeling well. And then suddenly he went. And I think actually it's... So the lesson there is do it while you can. I'd like to do, actually, a song that Love Divine or Love's Excelling.
Oh, this is for Lynn and Jim, actually.
Is it?
Yes. It's their anniversary of it's their anniversary of going out together. So I think they exchanged addresses and
So it's the anniversary of exchanging addresses.
She was 16, he was 19, and
Sounds like a song.
That was 44 years ago. They've been together ever since.
Congratulations. This is from the Hymns Project 1. This is a rewrite of Love Divine. Love Divine is one of those tunes that's iconic, and I know it is, that version we know, but there are many other tunes that were written, and I just thought we'd add to the canon of tunes written, and Mark in particular wrote this fantastic string arrangement, and this time you have also the addition of the fantastic church choir, St Saviour's Church Choir, and Sue, with her part, she's singing along the alto part all along. See if I can do it. Here we go, Love Divine. All loves it so. Love divine, all love's excelling, joy of heaven to earth come down, fix in us thy humble dwelling, all thy faithful mercies crown. Jesus, thou art all compassion, pure unbounded love thou art. Visit us with thy salvation, enter every trembling heart. Breathe, oh breathe thy loving spirit into every troubled breast. Let us all in thee inherit, let us find thy promised rest. Take away the love of sinning, Alpha and Omega be, and of faith as is beginning, set our hearts at liberty. Come, Almighty, to deliver, let us all thy grace receive. Suddenly return and never, never more thy temples leave. Thee we would be always blessing, serve thee as thy hosts above. Pray and praise thee without ceasing, glory in thy perfect love. Finish then thy new creation, pure and spotless let us be. Let us see thy great salvation, perfectly restored in thee. Changed from glory into glory, till in Him we take our place, till we cast our crowns before thee, lost in wonder, love, and praise. lost in wonder, love and prayer, lost in wonder, love and praise.
Beautiful version. People really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed it.
Those who haven't heard that one,
It's on
we've
his
got music
Project
for it
One.
and everything.
We do.
And,
We can introduce it to your church.
it would be great if you could. I mean, it's just one of those songs. I enjoyed writing that one. It was
lovely.
it was high when I wrote it,
It's high still. It's high still.
but you were singing along to the
Yeah, it's a nice harmony too.
nice melody.
Harmony. Very nice.
But it's a beautiful old song. And you may have noticed that tonight a lot of people have picked a lot of hymns and spiritual songs.
And why not?
So there we go. Now I'm going to do one more because if I don't do this,
he'll
he's
go
going
to
to
bed.
he's going to go to bed. Now
And we want to do
he's
this
got
bad,
an MRI. Dan, you've got an MRI on what day is it? What did we say? Oh, quick.
Tuesday?
Find out. I think it's Tuesday. And let me just find it.
I think it's
And
Tuesday.
I think it's Tuesday. And Dan has got, yes, MRI scan on Wednesday, actually, the 7th of June, regarding the lesion on his brain. And so prayer requests from all of you, and sending love, send hearts and stuff right now, because he needs those prayers. We're going to have, after this song, we're going to have some notices, Sue.
Okay, not a video, but we'll have a...
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Do the notices, and then we'll get in on the video, and then we'll have a little video break halfway through.
Okay.
Okay,
All right,
wonderful. And Paul was standing by in the next room.
Do-do-do.
You can't wait, can you, Paul? No, he said. Right. So blessed assurance. Now, I can't remember what I did with this one, but I made some kind of arrangement. I think it was in A, wasn't it? Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine, heir of salvation, purchase of God, born of His Spirit, washed in His blood. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. Perfect submission, all is at rest. I in my Savior am happy and blessed, watching and waiting, looking above, filled with His goodness, washed in His blood. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. Oh, this is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my all the day long. This is my story. This is my song, praising my Savior all the day long, praising my Savior all the day long. A JV Insta arrangement
That
of
was
an old classic.
fabulous, absolutely fabulous.
Did people enjoy, did you?
Yeah, lots of hearts. That was fantastic.
I quite like the. I was holding on for 3 days on the long.
So this Karen Bates says she sings this one in the bathroom. There are certain songs that are perfect for the bathroom. This one's.
Oh, this is a bathroom song.
Okay.
Sue?
Okay, let's
some
go for the
notices.
notices. Let's go for the notices. So we have got a few weeks not singing on tour, as it were, and then we start again on the 17th. So we are, as some people know, off to Southport on the 17th. So we're hoping that we're going to see John Greenwood, Sharon Wilson, and a few other people up in Southport on the 17th. And then we're hoping to see a few more people like the Windmills and other people on the 24th of June at Newbury. The next time we're out and about will be the 8th of July, which will be David Connell's church in Churchdown, Gloucester. So if you're in that area, it would be great to see you. Then in August, we are in Grange over Sands, where we are doing 2 weeks at Thornley Hotel. So the first week is the 21st to the 25th. Then in the middle is the 26th, which is Victoria Hall concert. And then there's another week. So we put it on here as a music week. Actually, I'm not sure what it's going to be at the moment, but it will be fun, whatever it is. And Jonathan and I will be there for the week with you. So you can either do a week and a concert, or a week, a concert and another week, or a concert and a week after, or just the concert.
Imagine you want to spend that much time with me. I don't want to spend that much time with me. Really? I'd say take a break.
Take your pick, but it will be lovely to see you folk up in Thornley Hotel, not Thornbury, Thornley Hotel, Grange over Sands. It's going to be an absolute hoot and a joy and a delight and wonderful singing. Then in September on the 23rd, we are in Stoke-on-Trent, which will be lovely. And then come October, we are in Stoneleigh, at St John's Church at the end of October, and then we have a couple of Christmas ones in the diary already.
But
one in Hastings.
We would really, really like you to book some concerts for these.
Yes. So if you are thinking of having a concert, don't delay. Make sure that you contact me. Sorry?
Autumn. We want
autumn.
the autumn.
Yeah, it'd be great
Autumn's
to have you
our
in
great
autumn.
time.
So we would love some more concerts in there. Jonathan is itching to get out on the road again. So if you want to know anything about it, please just write to me, sue@jonathanveira.com, and I will send you the details about it. And just start the conversation, and we will find a way of making it work for you, is what I would say. We will find a way. So if you are interested, sue@jonathanveira.com. Now, in the meantime, we will be continuing with some Steinway dates. And so that means that in June, we are doing the 4th, the 11th, and the 25th. So we have three Sundays, in June where we'll be doing the Steinway Room. Jonathan is probably, as I speak, contacting someone to come along and be a guest. But it would be wonderful to see you in the Steinway Room on the 4th, 11th, and 25th. So the next thing is our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for those of you who've joined. It's quite exciting to see the figures go up, and it's quite exciting to add a little video and see what happens to it. So for those of you who didn't catch it, we put up a silly little video of 2 little gnomes that we were given, one that looked like Jonathan, one that looked like me. And
by university graduates.
Yes, by the university students, which was lovely. And we put that up on there. And we got lots of people watching that. And Jonathan doing his accents whilst he was cooking a barbecue. We got slightly less watching that. So if you get a notification, just watch it. It's great fun and all kinds of silliness going on. So if you haven't subscribed yet, you go on to Jonathan Veira on YouTube and you click on the thumbs up, you click on subscribe. It will cost you nothing. Okay, it doesn't cost you a penny, but it just means that we get more people on our YouTube channel, and the more people we get, the more
we get stuff.
We get
Does
stuff.
that mean money?
But it just means we've got access to better facilities. I don't really understand it, but Rachel and Claire do. So they sort it out.
Point something out.
What?
I don't know why you've done this, but you missed out on Saturday the 24th of June in Newbury.
No, I haven't.
Did you say Newbury?
I did.
17th and 24th.
Yes.
Was I not listening?
You were not listening.
Okay, I take it back.
I did say it, didn't I? Because I said about the windmills
Paul,
coming.
did you say it? Did you say it?
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Paul,
You can come again.
Who's going to come and help with some mental health? I've got some major mental health issues. Come on in. Come and sit down. We'll have you on in a second.
Yeah. So, as I said, you want to contact me at sue@jonathanveira.com. And if you want to know anything about those concerts that I have mentioned, including the Newbury one, then you want to go on to jonathanveira.com. And the calendar is there with all the details on how to get tickets, where the address is, and so on. So it is all there. But if you need any help, just write to me, sue@jonathanveira.com. And if you want to order any CDs or books,
we would love you. Now, can I just say,
the shop is open at all times and in all places.
But we'd love you to buy particularly these the lockdown sessions and the hymns projects. Now, the hymns projects actually were one that we really did. I really do believe in. There's some fantastic songs. You may pick certain things that are better than others. What's that?
I'm just pointing out that you're in your box.
Oh, right, fine. But that would be great to have you buy those, and just to have them to bless you and get some great songs under your belt. Anyway, go on.
And along those lines, an idea that I've got that I'm just going to float out there. If you're in a church where you would like to have an evening, which is really Jonathan talking about hymns and introducing some of these new tunes. We also do a hymns project evening as opposed to a Jonathan Veira audience with evening.
A different thing.
So again, that's slightly different, but it means that you get to learn some of the new tunes, some of the old tunes, and you get to just have fun and learn about hymns and harmonising with hymns and that kind of thing, all of which is fantastic. So let's take him out of his box, okay? Okay, so then we are going on to... Yes, if you are wanting to join the Facebook community group, then this is what you need to put in, facebook.com/groups, and join the JV Community official group. If you haven't already joined, please do so, because it's lovely having a group of people that just know all about us and each other, and you are so kind to each other and you're so supportive, and sometimes it's just a good laugh too. So if you do join, then it will ask you a couple of questions. Please answer them. It's so much easier if you answer them. And it is simply about how you heard about it, because otherwise we've got to go through all kinds of rigmarole and it's such a nuisance. So I think I've stopped.
You've stopped. Have you not got, you've not got, you know what?
I have.
Can you put it up, please? And so again, we say to you this week, for those of you in need, you've got a friend. Trust is up there, and Adrian is waiting for your call, or more to the point, your email, your contact. And if you feel too embarrassed to contact him, contact us, and we can put you in contact and make sure we could. If you feel unable to fill in forms, but you've got some need at the moment that we could help with. It's not. We always say it every week. It's not. We're not going to pay your mortgage. We can't do that. But we might be able to help you with some small item, something that's in the house that you need, a washing machine, a bed, or something like that we can put. Now, so many of you have been giving regularly to, you've got a friend Trust, and we bless you for that. And without the money, we obviously can't give, and it only comes from you. There's nobody else it comes from. We haven't applied to trusts to get special money. This is you, and you being generous. So if you could do that, or if you have a need, then please contact us and we will pass on that to Adrian. I think that will be that. You've got a friend, Trust.
Also, we need to talk about this weekend.
Oh!
Not weekend.
Sue, I forgot that,
Wednesday. One in September or in November. So for those of you who've not heard about it, Jonathan will now tell you all about it.
Thanks. The Stuart McCreary works in a retreat house over in Marlow. A beautiful situation.
So
it's
pretty.
stunning.
It's lovely.
We went and did a Christmas concert for him some time ago, and the days have been there many times, and people have done brass band concerts and all that. Now, I came up with this idea of actually just having a day when we could get together. I don't, at the moment, the weekends are all booked out. And anyway, I think it's too small to cope with everybody in the community. But we thought we'd start with a kind of a day when we could just get together. And we might have a few items and things and people come and do a couple of bits and bobs. But it might be just you coming together, meeting together, having some food and chatting together and just being together and finding out a little bit about each other. Meeting face-to-face those who haven't met face-to-face. Obviously, things like this come with a cost. If you want to stay, there are some ensuite rooms, about 13 ensuite rooms, and the rest aren't ensuite, but you can stay there for the night. I think the total cost is £90, I think, if you stay overnight, with meals, all meals provided. If you just come for the day, I think, what was the cost?
£50.
£50 for the day, and that's food and everything else. Right, now he's letting us have the chapel for nothing, and that can fit about 60 people. We're after numbers. We've had a kind of a split, haven't we, somewhere between?
We have.
So we need to kind of have coalesce on a day.
We need to decide which day. I don't think it even works if we did both, because I think people would be split one way or another.
No, and I'm not having 13 people.
No.
We've got to find a quorum, and if there are not enough people to do it, then we're going to have to think again.
Yeah.
But we need more than 10 people in each thing. It's not going to work otherwise. No. So we need about 30 to 40 people. But it's a lovely idea,
and a lot of you are very enthusiastic. So even if you're just thinking about it, just let me know. Sue@jonathanveira.com.
Or actually, and
or on Messenger.
On Messenger, or reply to it was on the Facebook community, and contact Stuart as well. Yeah. He can tell you details, or we can tell you details, whatever you prefer. Yeah. Okay, let's have a little video, and then we're going to get into our guest tonight, Paul McCreary, who's come all the way from Ashford up the road. I know what you're thinking, kumbaya, it's not going to happen. I got a home in glory land that outshines the sun. I got a home in glory land that outshines the sun. Got a home in glory land that outshines the sun, way beyond the blue. Oh, do Lord, oh, do remember me. Do Lord, oh, do remember me. Do Lord, oh, do remember me, way beyond the blue. As my Savior, you take him too. I take Jesus as my Savior, you take him too. I take Jesus as my Savior, you take him too. Way beyond the blue. Do Lord, oh, do remember me. Do Lord, oh, do remember me. Do Lord, oh, do remember me. Way beyond the blue. Cannot bear a cross, you can't wear a crown. If you cannot bear a cross, you can wear a crown. If you cannot bear a cross, you can wear a crown. Way beyond the blue. Oh, do Lord, do remember me. Do Lord, do remember me. Do Lord, do remember me. Way beyond the blue. Lord, do remember me. Do Lord, do remember me. Do Lord, do remember me. Way beyond the blue. Do Lord, do remember me. Do Lord, do remember me. Do Lord, do remember me. Way beyond the blue. Got a home in Gloryland. I'm coming home. That's right. Thank you very much. Well, that was a good fun. I remember doing this one because we did it live, and Nick, bless his cotton socks, the only ball he dropped in the whole night was he started out the song too quickly. And he was miles too quick.
You can see the look of panic on Matt's face.
Yes, as he started playing the solo. He went, ah! Down, 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 down. Anyway, certainly I should have practiced. We are here with Mr. Paul McCreary, who said, I do not get the most interesting people onto this show. And Paul has been watching for some time. Paul, welcome to JV Live from the Steinway Room.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's great to be here.
Well, it's lovely to have you. Is the green on? Is his microphone on?
Yes, his microphone's on.
And so it's great to have you, Paul. And it was fortuitous. This was a moment, a God moment, I think, actually we would call it in the Christian thing. But those of you who are not Christians, we call them God incidences rather than coincidences. Although I'm quite happy to go with the coincidence, to be honest, if that's what suits you. We were here on Tuesday, I think it was. And you came for a gift, I believe it was.
Yes.
What happened?
At Christmas, as you do, you're unfastening the Christmas presents, and I thought, what's in this envelope? And as I opened the envelope, there was an invitation to have a singing lesson with Jonathan, and I followed Jonathan for years. My wife and family have been down in the south since 1992.
So sorry.
And I think it was about 1996 that you did an evening in Spelthorne Leisure Centre.
I remember it, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I was the fool who asked, how do you get such a range? And of course you answered it with just as much pizzazz as I'd asked a daft question. And after Tuesday, that was an even dafter question. But Christmas Day. So I opened this envelope and I broke into tears. Oh. I was so overwhelmed with how much my lovely wife, who sadly is not here this evening, because she is helping out at a service this evening, but how much she knows me and how much she loves me. And my daughter, unfortunately I've left it in the other room, but my daughter created this invitation which had Jonathan's photograph from
no wonder you burst into tears.
Absolutely. From online, and this invitation to have a singing lesson with him, which on Tuesday, that's exactly what we did. It's taken a while to organise, with me being unwell with respiratory issues and Jonathan and Sue now out on the road. they're a busy couple.
Well, we are, and it was you caught me on university week. It was a university
yes.
assessment week,
Yeah.
and now I've finished uni. But it was. Do you know what? Having taught the kids to sing over years at the uni, and their assessment. Some of you saw that post I put up, and you were kind enough to like it. And it was very moving, actually seeing them all, and they all go away, they all leave you. And after 4 years, then suddenly off they are. They are 22, 23 sometimes, and sometimes a bit older. And you've kind of seen them through from leaving school, children basically. They've grown into women and men, and they've just, it's been wonderful to see it, actually, to be honest. Very emotional. And you came in, and as an old man, and I thought,
Thank you.
we're old men together, aren't we?
We are.
And it was lovely, actually, because I didn't know what to expect. And what I got was it was a rough diamond and a nice vocal quality to your sound, and it was just a nice thing. You sung "Bring Him Home" after a few pointers, a few lessons. How did you find it?
The quality of what I could sing was unbelievable to what it was when I sang it the first time.
Yeah.
With
Simple things, isn't it?
Really
Just
simple things. Absolutely.
Well,
yes.
and I put that out there. Actually, I didn't say that, but people with a talent, please. I do not want you, if you have never sung a note, don't come here. Go to Sue. She'll help you.
It's a bit like they quite often ask you to do things like singing lessons for, and he said swimming lessons, singing lessons for.
I'll give them swimming lessons as well. If you come here, and my garden, as it usually is I'll give you swimming lessons.
But for people who, when they do these auction of promises.
Yes. Oh, I've just cut that as well. Just right.
The trouble is that what often happens is that, as it happened once, we did it for a school once, and this poor woman, her entire family clubbed together to make sure that they would get the best deal possible. And she said to me afterwards, she said, I don't even know why they did it. I perhaps said I wish I could sing, but she said I didn't mean I wish I could go for a singing
you
lesson
get an
with
international
Jonathan.
opera singer. It's a little bit intimidating.
But if you can sing,
if you can sing and you do sing
you
and you
are
like some lessons,
superb at actually
I
helping someone
know how to get
improve.
things out of people.
You do.
It's very simple. And so do. I use this as an advertising post, and give me a ring if you'd like some lessons, and a series of lessons. If you'd like to come over, then that would be a great thing. Anyway, I want to talk to you. It's Mental Health Awareness Week, and we want to find out a little bit about you, Paul. You came into it, and I didn't know that you were a mental health practitioner and a lecturer, no less, at university. And I couldn't believe that you walked into my house. And I suddenly looked at you and thought, this guest that I was promising you last week, here he is. Paul McCreary, a nice, good old Irish name. Tell me.
A nice Irish Scottish name, borrowed essentially my. I'm not going to go into the whole story, but I had a checkered early years, and my birth father and I separated our ways fairly early in mine and his being together. Notably, my mum divorced him.
Yes.
And mum had a need to have a man in her life, and thus she was married 4 times.
Oh my goodness!
And
exhausting for you.
Absolutely. And number 3 was with us for quite some years. So as I was joining the secondary school at the age of 11, I adopted, as it were, the McCreary name, and my brother stayed with the paternal name.
And that was a German name to add.
It's Minette, and as I understand, there is some German history in the name, but the McCreary name
is borrowed.
Is borrowed, but it's also, my stepfather was Scottish from Airdrie near Glasgow,
right?
And but when I did a search, as you do, they moved from Ireland in the
Yeah.
15th century to Scotland.
And some of us still remember that 15th century.
Well, I'm
we
sure.
do,
Yeah.
Now interesting, isn't it? Because I asked you that earlier, and it came with a story, and I think that's what's interesting about everybody who comes into this room. We had Richard last week, and I promised that I would, while I'm thinking about it, I would advertise Sue. Entertaining Angels is on in Cheltenham, I think it is, an amateur production, and we promised to put up the details.
We did. We must do that later.
We'll do it. We'll get Rachel to put up the details. Richard came last week and was a really fabulous guest again, with a story to tell. And not a story that is predictable. You know, it goes down a particular road and then it turns sharp left, you know, or right. And you just go, oh my goodness. And suddenly our lives are changed and necessarily our mental health changes. And this in Mental Health Awareness Week, I suddenly thought this is great because you had your own struggles after that, didn't you?
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, with the life that we started with, it's not at all surprising. I was a very shy, still am really, introverted young man, which is bizarre when I'm now a senior lecturer and was a manager of the mental health team at one stage. So it's not surprising that during my life I've had mental health difficulties with anxiety, with depression over the years, and not all the time, but periods when there's been specific things in life. You know, my grandmother's death, and she brought us up for most of our lives in reality.
Right. Yes.
Because Mum had to go out to work.
Yes.
And so on. So lots of stuff.
Things, roadblocks along the way.
Absolutely, that got in the way, and as someone who was and is very shy and equally quite vulnerable, I think it's fair to say, I would talk to my mum, but actually wouldn't necessarily share with my brother or my sister when she came along. About 8 years afterwards, and life goes on. Got married and so on and so forth. Have children and grandchildren and so on. But it still comes every now and then.
Yeah, the black dog, the
black
old
dog.
as Winston Churchill used to call it.
Used to say, yes.
And actually, it's funny, isn't it? You know that you and I've always been open about it, never ever shared, not shared it. And it's an interesting thing because we've changed a lot. I saw a program there. Why can't men just get on with it and shut up and just, you know? Well, what is that? An alarm? That's good. Who put that on?
You wouldn't even know how to, would you?
Well, I don't know how these things operate. And so actually, it's quite interesting. I just want to trail slightly to the left and find out how you, through these difficulties, you know, why you didn't become something else instead of something. And tell us the path towards that.
Yeah. So in addition to having mental health difficulties, I was very clumsy as a child and ended up in A&E. And actually, if you look very carefully, on my forehead, I've got lots of scars from having sutures, having stitches in my head from when I'd be clumsy, fall over, etc. And to the point that A&E staff knew when I was arriving, and certainly when it was time to take the stitches out, because I would take my own stitches out. They would cut them, and I would pull them out with tweezers. And became quite skilled at it. And I'd always been someone who cared a lot about people.
Yes.
Other people.
Yes.
Less so about me, but other people.
Yeah.
And so about 12, I developed a Christian faith. I'd been involved in the church singing since I was about 5, and developed a Christian faith, and felt that nursing is what I needed to be doing. That it was almost a calling, like many nursing
A real vocation.
colleagues were a real vocation back then, and And of course, you can't go into nursing until you're sort of 18, 19-ish. So I continued at school, not very bright at school, still don't have a mathematics qualification. I was talking to a maths teacher in church this morning, and I said, I don't have a maths, but I've not killed anybody yet as a nurse, so I must be doing okay. And because of my health difficulties as a child, I struggled to get into a nursing school.
Yeah.
I applied to every nursing school in England for 2 years.
Oh my goodness!
Before a nursing school would accept me as a student into the nursing.
And that was because of your history of being in and out of hospital.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Gosh,
Yeah.
I never knew that.
And also a history of mental health difficulties,
Right.
of course,
right.
as a child, as a teenager. And it's of interest to me that the hospital that said yes to me was the hospital that I'd actually had some inpatient care as a teenager in.
How interesting.
I don't know whether they made that connection or not, don't know. And of course, as a student nurse, I took the line that actually it's not appropriate, and it isn't, to check what my notes have to say about me.
No.
But
No, because that could be very destructive.
absolutely, yeah, and illegal.
Yes. But I think it's illegal because it's destructive.
Absolutely. Yes.
One could speculate. You don't want. I mean, I often see what they write about me.
Yeah.
I saw the top cover notes. of my consultancy.
In red, right across
He
the
said,
top.
right,
Do
said,
not annoy
Do
this
not
man.
annoy this man. It's got. I'm not joking. That's what it's got. Do not annoy this man. So I think they try. Hello, Mr. Veira.
And written across the top of mine were,
Is it-
"This woman deserves a medal." I'm joking.
Yes.
Although it's probably true.
Probably true.
Yeah.
Yes.
So okay, so
Yeah.
you get accepted
Yeah.
only by this one.
By this one school of nursing as to train as an enrolled nurse, and again, not everybody would know what that means. So back then, you had two groups of nurses: enrolled nurses who were the bedside nurse, which is what I really wanted to be anyway, rather than stuck in an office doing admin and talking to doctors and all that sort of stuff, rather than being a staff nurse. So that was a two-year course, which took me 2.5 years, because I also then had mental health difficulties while I was doing my nursing training. But qualified and got 9 offers of a job.
Wow.
At different hospitals, different places. So I moved from West Yorkshire, from what was originally called the Menston Asylum, and actually there is a Channel 4 documentary about the hospital. It's on YouTube. It's the hospital was called Hyroids Hospital. If you want to look it up, Hyroids, yeah,
That's not good. It's like
Hyroids.
sorry.
Hospital.
He got another look from me.
I got another look.
Yeah.
The hyroids.
I know where you're
You know
going
what I'm
with that
talking
one.
about.
I
Yeah.
know
How
where
did
you're
you
going
know
with
I
that
was
one.
going down that path? And my
40
mind
years
always
of
goes to
marriage.
this bad place. Okay. I hope you can help me here. This is going to be
We'll
free
try.
advice, all right? I need some free advice
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
So you had to deal with hemorrhoids in steroids.
Absolutely.
Could you get that? Could you
Yes.
see? I worked that one in. I knew you were going to get it. I knew you were going to stop me, but I can't. Yeah, cannot stop me.
No.
No. But how did, having been offered the job,
Yeah.
were you thrilled?
Yes. Yeah. It started my new career. I just got married, literally just qualified in November, got married and started my new job in December,
Wow.
and moved house.
Apart from that,
There's a lot of stress factors all in one place.
Yeah. Holmes and Ray would have a field day. They're the people who did the research about the scale in terms of the
right.
stress
What's the
for
most
that.
stressful? Oh,
Yeah.
Holmes and Ray.
Yeah.
Was that the study?
Yeah.
All right.
By then.
Just right. Just go and have a look at that one. Holmes and Ray.
Yeah.
That's the one that tells you if you move moving house is one of the most stressful things you
It's
can do,
one of
isn't it?
them. Yeah.
What are the other two?
Oh, there's several.
Are there?
Been,
Let me have a few. Come on.
oh my word! Moving house, having a baby, getting divorced,
New job.
getting married, new job, being a publican.
Being a publican. Sue, that's it. were not going to be publicans, right?
Yeah.
I know. It's
Yeah.
right,
Well,
we're not,
there's about 20 altogether.
Right.
So,
12, right?
yeah,
Okay.
in the
So on the hierarchy, that's
Yeah.
up there, isn't it?
Yes,
Oh, giving
yeah.
speeches, isn't it? Talking in public actually is
Possibly.
one of them.
somewhere down there, yeah.
Somewhere down there. So, you start there as a state enrolled, an SEN,
Yeah,
rather than a SRN, is that right?
that's right, yeah.
State registered.
Yeah.
And how did you ascend the dizzy heights of what you managed to, I mean, because I just want your career,
Yeah,
then
of
people
course.
know
Yeah,
what
no
you're
problem.
qualified to do, so they can get, when they're talking
Yeah.
about helping people, they know you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, that's a fair comment. So I worked in Scunthorpe, sunny Scunny, for
What a dreadful place.
for 2.5 years. It was better then than it is now.
Oh,
I
right.
visited recently. So I worked on this acute mental health ward for people who are really in the most acute state of mental distress that you're likely to see.
Committed? Usually?
Yes, on sections of the Mental Health Act,
Right.
which historically was called committed. So I worked there for 3 years. I then moved to Leicester to work with the really challenging people with mental health difficulties. Worked in a regional secure unit, which is for people primarily who are believed to have been involved in criminal activity,
Right.
either during mental health difficulties, developed mental health difficulties whilst in prison or on remand, etc., and would be admitted to this secure setup for a period of assessment, and if it was found that they had mental health difficulties, would then be treated, and if their offence was particularly serious, then often the case would be that they would be transferred from that regional secure unit to the likes of Broadmoor is the nearest one to here,
okay.
a high secure
High
hospital.
security, yeah. So murders and etc.
Yeah, but with the potential of multiple murders.
Okay.
So there are people in secure units who may have murdered a person, a familial, a family member maybe, or something like that.
Yeah.
But for serial.
So you're there. You've joined from serious to very, very serious, and
I worked there for 3 years, and then I come down to London to work in.
You worked your way down the country.
Absolutely, yeah. Much to the disgust of my in-laws,
up
who
in
still live
Scunthorpe.
up in Yorkshire.
Right, yes.
Every year from qualifying as an enrolled nurse, I applied to the colleges of nursing up and down the country. There were not very many. I think there were about 17. To start the course that would then qualify me as a state registered nurse, or state registered mental health nurse, or registered mental nurse as it was, psychiatric nurse, which was 2 years. And within 6 months of completing that course, I'd already got my first promotion.
All right. So
Within 2 years of that, I skipped a beat and got the next level up.
Oh wow.
And started my education route as an educator in practice. I'd always had a heart for helping people to learn, as well as helping people to. In fact, my grandchildren say that I teach nurses how to nurse properly.
That's
a lovely
nice,
way of
isn't
putting it.
Sort of 4-year-old and 6-year-old at the time,
and they see exactly what's going on.
and now they're 6 and 10 respectively.
Yeah.
So that's their perspective. So
Hello to the family, by the way, those of you
yes,
who are watching.
indeed. Yeah.
And who are they? You can name them if you want to.
So Annabella will not be watching because she should be in bed.
Well,
Asleep by now, and who's the older one at 10 now, and Louisa Marie is our youngest from our daughter's side,
yes.
and then we have 3 others. Kai, who's coming up to 18, and working on passing his driving test.
Go for it, Kai.
And
Become another danger on the road to
absolutely,
us old people.
Yeah. And Daisy, who's where is she? She's 11, so recently started secondary school this last year. And our little newbie is Amelia Grace, who's one and has just started learning.
Learning the piano.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, that's next. Yeah, that's next.
She's got a recital next month.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I'm teaching my granddaughter to do the piano, and I expect she's doing a full Chopin recital within, I think, in June. Hopefully. So you start educating.
Yes.
How do you
in practice?
But you're also head of the unit. What were you? The team?
So throughout my clinical practice, working with patients, I was also doing teaching with the students, supporting students, etc. Yes. I did some courses to qualify me as a teacher, and then I actually then got a post, which was as an educator supporting students all over the trust, rather than being based in one particular unit. And then from there was headhunted into mental health trust. That was a community-based services trust, and then headhunted into a mental health trust. Worked there for about 12 years, and then from there was I did a half-time in clinic in a trust as an educator, and half-time at the university, and was then successful to get the manager of the mental health team job, which I enjoyed, but albeit very challenging, working with a team that had only known me as a part-time worker, and suddenly I'm the boss, sort of, but in a very, very gentle way.
University?
University, yes.
This is, I mean, it's quite
and that's where I work now, as a senior lecturer.
Yeah. Well, that is quite a thing. I'm going to just sing a song. We're going to come back to, now we're going to talk about application. We're talking about life, things that are affecting people, actually, in this particular week that we're talking about. And they've been affecting people, I think, right along the way.
Absolutely.
And I think it's something that, as you said to me earlier, how can I be a Christian and not rejoice? I remember, somebody saying to me, just get on with it, just do it. Anyway, this song for Sue is for All That Matters. Okay. Yes, All That Matters for Dawn Porteous, I think it is, and they'd written to me earlier to say, can I sing a song for her? And I think I'm going to do it to the backing track because it's a nice backing track from the album. Lockdown Sessions 1, I think it is. There's my own boys singing on this as well, which is lovely. Matt and Nick. Here's life in all its mystery, the beauty and the tragedy, the silence and the symphony, everything between. And deep inside the heart of man, the need to know and understand, are we a part of some great plan or just a passing dream? Philosophers philosophize, but rarely look you in the eyes. Politics is compromise that rides the ebb and flow, and money talks and fashion screams to fill the space inside your dreams. If you want something to believe, I'll tell you what I know. My maker is my savior, my creator. He's also my friend, and to find him and his favor is all that matters in the end. cannot speak in certainties, but that's what Jesus is to me, the bedrock of my soul, a Savior who can really save, a power stronger than the grave, the greatest gift I'll ever have, the deepest joy I know. Oh, my Maker is my Savior, my Creator is also my friend, and to find Him and His favor is all that matters in the end. Oh, my Maker is my Savior, my Creator. He's also my friend, and to find Him and His favor is all that matters, is all that matters, is all that matters in the end. In the end, my Maker is my Savior. And that was also for Sally and Mark out there in Bahamas. If they happen to be watching, I'm sure they've rung off. Oh, Bermuda, sorry. Wrong one. Bermuda. Wherever you are, having a nice time, I hope you are. Having a nice drink by the pool as we speak. I'm back with Paul McCreary, who is a healthcare professional. He's the senior lecturer at, where are you, Trent?
At Buckinghamshire University.
Buckingham University. And you must have come across an awful lot of stuff that for many people people who are sectioned, of course, the serious stuff, but normal, what I would call run-of-the-mill mental health things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
So there are so many examples. I mean, obviously, to get into a mental health setting now is exceedingly difficult, because you have to be very, very unwell and acutely unwell, potentially life-threateningly unwell in terms of suicidal ideation, potential risk to other people because of what's happening in your brain, primarily, to actually get into a mental health ward. So most of the contact with mental health services is through community-based services, and including the new increased access to psychological therapist services, which are services that essentially provide mostly cognitive CBT, cognitive behaviour therapy type services, therapies, but equally, if it's appropriate, counselling service for a short period.
But the waiting list for that is about 200,000 from what I'm hearing. Is that completely wrong? Nationally, I'm talking.
Nationally, yes, you're probably right, but locally, it depends upon where you are and how the service is set up. Certainly, in Surrey, it seems to be about 6 to 8 weeks
before you can get that's not bad,
which
actually.
is not bad.
And what level do you have to be to get that kind of?
Again, the IAP service is set up primarily around.
IAP, what does that mean?
Increased access to psychological therapies.
Okay.
So it was a government initiative a couple of years ago to try and reduce waiting lists for psychological treatments.
Yes.
Because of the long waiting list, but also the reduction in psychologists and psychology-based treatments available, whereas the psychological therapy that is provided through the IAP service, the cognitive behaviour therapy, the staff are highly trained,
Right.
not as long trained as a psychologist who has to study for a PhD and then
Yes.
a few
Become a
years
doctor,
as
basically. Yeah.
clinical psychology, etc., etc. But they're very effective. That's
Typically,
findings.
what is CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy?
Okay.
What is that? What kind of typical
What is it useful for?
useful for?
So
what
it's
kind
used for
of symptoms?
things like anxiety, like depression. Often, in fact, I've got some information which I'm going to leave with Sue,
Thank
which
you.
I've taken from the NHS website.
Right.
And it includes some interesting things like, so we've got depression, generalised anxiety, social anxiety, panic and agoraphobia, other phobias, obsessive compulsive disorder, which is where you have an obsessive thought
Yes.
which requires a compulsive action, which is often around cleanliness.
Okay.
But not
So
always.
touching surfaces,
Yeah,
etc.
yeah.
Routine,
Or cleaning.
would it be things
Routine.
like getting into? So we've all seen films like it, haven't we? Seen
Yeah, absolutely. Post-traumatic stress disorder, irritable bowel syndrome. This is what I mean about some interesting
Right.
ones.
that is interesting. IBS. Why?
Yeah, it's. I think there's a link between sort of stress, stroke, anxiety, and IBS as a disorder.
That's
And it's
interesting.
managing that anxiety level.
Yes.
Because part of the symptoms of anxiety, like I have at the moment, a dry mouth, for example. It's all right, I've got water with me.
Yeah.
But also abdominal discomfort.
Yes.
So it interferes with the whole alimentary tract, as
Yeah.
it were, right through to the bowels.
Gosh.
You know, and
Do
your
you know, I thought about that, but that's
digestion
true,
and
isn't
so
it?
on and so forth.
So
You know,
fight and flight,
yeah,
kind of.
yeah, fight, flight,
It
or
just
fear.
shuts the
Or fear.
whole digestive system down, doesn't it?
Yes.
Because it says,
Yeah.
"Oh, you don't need that. You don't need that."
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
So
right.
what
just
is
cope-
that? The adrenal gland pumping in a
Yeah, it's the
particular way,
adrenaline
saying,
shuts the whole
Yeah,
of
it's
the
adrenaline.
system down.
So adrenaline has 22 different automatic effects on our bodies.
22.
Yeah.
See, I love having people in like you.
So
Really, what does it do? Just give us an idea.
So one of the things that I do often in class when we're talking about stress or anxiety is I just simply clap my hands without them realising it's coming, and then we talk through about, so what's happening? What's
Do
happening?
it. Do it. Right.
So what's happening
Yeah.
is you've taken a deep, sharp intake of breath. Your blood has gone from the extremities to the main organs,
Yes.
and the big thigh muscles,
Yes.
to your upper arms, etc., so that you're then ready to
Fight.
Fight or
flight,
run away.
You know, and it just really weird things like it takes away the blood from the stomach, so it can't continue, and that's why you get like butterflies,
Yeah.
because the acids and so on are still popping away in your stomach, but there's no blood to actually make it.
Which is why it's uncomfortable for you if you're
Absolutely.
performing.
Yes.
You tend not to eat before you perform
Yeah.
because
No.
your digestive
Can't
system
digest.
just shuts down. And
Do you know what? I'm loving this. I do. Don't you people out there love this? Because you start to find a reason.
when it begins to, you just begin
You
to
start to
understand
piece it
a
together,
bit,
don't you?
Yeah.
Because often we
absolutely.
don't know.
No. That's
We don't
right.
know. I didn't know that's how it worked. But
Yeah. Yeah.
after all these years of incredible
Experiencing it.
stress
Yes,
in the
absolutely.
business,
Yeah.
and it was one of the reasons I did get. I used to get quite. I didn't show it, but I was terrified every night before I went on,
Yeah.
and that would show itself in not being able to eat, but eating piles afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, the body then wanted sugar, sugar, sugar.
Yes.
You know,
absolutely.
it's that. Hence the diabetes. There, but
Yeah, absolutely.
So go on. What else? What
So, sorry, what was
we're talking about?
question?
We're talking about the
That's
the
my,
fight or
one
flight
of my
thing.
other ologies.
Yes.
So the fight and flight enables you to make a quick judgment about, and it's a normal reaction. It's not abnormal. You know, you're walking down the road and you hear the horn of a car go off, and immediately you get that response. Well, what am I in danger? And you have a look round quickly, and it takes a little while for that to settle down. And for different people, it takes different lengths of periods of time. So some of that might really freak somebody out and make them really, really anxious for quite a long time.
So your heartbeat goes quicker.
Your heart's faster. Your breathing is faster. Your ability to think things through is impaired because you're not as sharp. Because whilst you've got a lot more blood around the brain, working through the brain, as it were, your ability of that higher cognitive function is impaired because of the anxiety that's in there.
So let me now translate that into what I would call day-to-day anxiety levels. Because when I went to the doctor, I had acute anxiety. He tested me, my doctor, and he said he gave me a sheet of paper to fill out. I went in crying.
Questionnaire.
And he gave me a questionnaire. He said, fill that out. And I went, what? And he went, you just fill it out. And it says things like, can you laugh? Do you find it easy to laugh at things and things like that? And so he said, do you still find things? Well, I still find things, as you can tell. Hemorrhoids are funny. And they're not for the people who've got them.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
But for me, so I still find things fine. And he went and he looked at me and he did it all. And he was a friend. He was a lovely. He's in our church. And he went, no, it's not depression, but it's high levels of anxiety. Absolutely. And I could not function. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't learn. It affected every cognitive function, which I imagine is what happened to you as well.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, Sue's the only one in here who hasn't had any treatment for anything.
I'm saving up the time. I'm going to do it in style.
So CBT, let's do with that, which is what is often offered.
Yes.
To people out there.
So that's based on a cycle around feelings, thoughts, and actions. Yeah.
Okay.
So we have, let's say, a thought, which is reoccurring, which creates a set of feelings, and that then generates a particular piece of activity, and that activity might be flight, running away figuratively, and possibly properly. As in actually. So flight, fight, which is it may be in some cases to ignore it, but it's not happening to me. Yeah? Yes. But equally, it might be, well, I'm not having this, which is quite a positive response to a degree. So fight, flight, or freeze.
Yes.
And some people just, I don't know what to do with this.
No, and that can result in an actual freeze.
Yeah. So
we know somebody that does that.
And in some cases, dependent on the scenario, that might lead into something like the type of anxiety, which is a post-traumatic stress disorder, where there's a particular acute stressor that's happened. So, for example, maybe you've been involved in a really difficult day at work. I had a scenario. It didn't create this disorder in me, but where I found someone who was trying to hang herself on the ward.
Goodness.
I was very fortunate in that I was doing my job, and I was meant to be going around and checking all the people who were in this situation, and so I got to her before she died.
Yes.
She'd put a tight bathroom robe tie around her neck, and attached it to the hook in the wardrobe and then slid down. And she had stopped, she'd gone into respiratory arrest, so she stopped breathing. And the next thing would have been that her heart would have stopped.
Yes.
And so I was able to just let her slip down, unfasten the ligature, and let her gently roll to the floor whilst setting an alarm going and getting someone to go and ring for the crash team. And then I started CPR, including mouth to mouth, as it was back then. And by the time the crash team, thankfully, she was breathing again.
Yeah, gosh. And that caused in you?
That caused anxiety in me, but not to the degree of traumatic stress.
Right.
What did cause traumatic stress disorder was being assaulted.
Oh, Paul.
And that was being assaulted whilst restraining somebody who'd assaulted 2 colleagues. And unfortunately, the notion was that there'd be other colleagues who would be grabbing this guy's arms.
And they didn't.
But they didn't get there quick enough, so they damaged my neck. He damaged my neck, should I say. And that's
long term.
That's long term. I had to stop playing rugby. Thus the shirt.
Yeah, the man
These
was
are
that.
rugby balls.
That's the rugby shirt, by the way.
Yes.
He was
You can't
you were
see.
wing forward, weren't you?
It
Yes,
looks like flowers, but actually it's
And a major player,
rugby
actually.
balls.
I'm presuming union, not league.
Absolutely.
Quite right.
Although I have played both.
Well, don't even mention it.
Don't.
But don't swear in here. It's not allowed. Not in the Steinway room. And but that caused post-stress. So
It did.
you have levels. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it, Sue?
Yeah.
What would you say? Well, listening to that, what would you say about where people that you know are pitched in there?
And I think it's, as the mind is the most incredibly complex organ, everyone will have a slightly different response to something, and therefore some people will respond well to CBT because they need that, and some people find it less helpful. Maybe they try it, but it doesn't quite work for them, and they need to think about something else.
So with the CBT, so just for people out there, if they're going to have this kind of treatment, in a paragraph, what does it do?
Essentially, what happens is that you learn how to think, act, and feel differently about whatever's caused the distress in the first instance, but you also learn strategies
when it triggers
to think about triggers, to think about your thought patterns, and maybe a simple cognitive approach is to imagine that you're wearing a medallion, and on one side you've got PMA, and on the other side NMA, and so for a person who may have intrusive thoughts, you'd a waste of space.
Yes.
For example,
yes,
was one of mine years and years ago, and so that's a negative mental attitude, and then the
NMA,
the need to the treatment is essentially simply to turn that medallion over and challenge that you're a waste of space to you're valuable and loved.
Right. So addressing it directly, and actually that physical thing. You don't have to have. By the way, you don't have to have one. You have it in your mind.
Yeah, that's right.
A mental approach.
But initially, you might wear a medallion, whether it's a cross, as I wear a cross, or whatever it might be, and you might physically turn it over.
That's really really helpful, actually.
And that's a psychological technique, but there's actually an action which is turning that over, and eventually you don't need to turn it over physically because you do it mentally. But that if you're disciplined with it, there's a suggestion that it takes about 30 days to create a new habit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because isn't that the problem, that for so many of us, we get into these unhelpful habits of
Absolutely.
responding to something, and before long those unhelpful actions, those unhelpful thoughts become a sort of rut that we get stuck in. So
Yeah.
we're never going to just jump out of them, because our wheels just keep going on down those ruts, and so we don't actually move out of them. And this is what CBT does. It helps us to stop and hoik.
Is that what you felt I did? I do. Is that my pattern?
What, that you get into unhelpful ruts?
Yeah.
Yes, I can see it happening.
You can see it happening. See, that's what's interesting. I can't see it happening, this intrusive thought thing. But my counsellor, she said, I mean, I was with her for a year. I was with one woman for 6-8 weeks, 6-8 weeks, something like that. She was very good. And then the second one, bless her, she was a much more strident woman, and she wouldn't put up with any of my nonsense. And she really was quite...
Yeah.
And but I was with her for a year. She used to say to me, Jonathan, she said, you must take one of the techniques is that you take an emotional step backwards, 2 or 3 steps backwards, and count to 10, breathing at the same time.
Yeah.
And then you go, no, I'm not going to do this, and I'm not going to do this, and here I am. Rather than, again, it's this emotional step back. And I used to find myself physically stepping back at times. Now, I'm better than I've been for a long time.
I would agree.
But these intrusive thoughts things. So I know people out there, I know many of you are out there, and you think, oh, JV, he's so confident, he's got this and he's that and the other. But it's not true, is it?
Front.
Yeah, it is. That we have to, a strategy,
Yeah.
I'd call it.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I go into class. I went into class on Friday, and I'm an introvert. And there's 100 people plus in front of me.
Yes.
And I've got to give some bad news.
Yeah.
That actually, unfortunately, the lecturer who's meant to be here lecturing isn't here because there was a problem with the timetable.
So 100
It wasn't
people.
on his timetable.
No.
But we are fixing it, was my message.
Yes.
So you
Yes,
have
that's
to be
positive.
patient with it.
Yeah.
You need to be patient with us as we try and fix it.
Yes.
And we did. We eventually managed to get hold of him, and within 20 minutes, 30 minutes, he was there to do what he needed to do.
Yeah. But you had to stand up and say...
Yeah. I have to stand up and say, I'm really sorry, but this is where we're at,
So people, I think, during this Mental Health Awareness Week, what would you encourage people?
We've run out of time.
We've
so
only done it.
I know we have.
Always the way.
Well, this week is specifically focused on anxiety.
That's helpful.
So if you go on to, if you Google mental health awareness week, you will be directed to the Mental Health Foundation website, and there's lots of resources on there around anxiety. What is it? The fact that it's actually normal.
Yes.
And many people don't realise that.
No.
They think I'm ill, but actually, a lot of anxiety that we experience is just normal. It's how we are made.
Yes.
Whatever framework you have about how we are made, it's how we're made. Whether we were, developed from cells in the sea, or whether, as I believe, we were created, or any other philosophy. But the other week that it's been this week, very briefly, it's been Dementia Action Week as well.
Has it really?
It has indeed. So
Well, that affects both of our parents, doesn't it?
So on Tuesday, I was eventually in Morrison's in Weybridge. I ended up in Woking because I got the name of the road wrong. It was,
And it took you to...
Yeah, and it took me to Woking,
Hallelujah.
not to Weybridge. Hallelujah. But I got there in the end, and I had lots of conversations with people who, I mean, obviously I was there to try and raise money for the charity, but had lots of conversations with people who knew people who'd had dementia and who had died from dementia. And many people don't realise that actually dementia is a terminal illness.
Yes.
In one way or another.
Yes.
Now, it may be that people die because of other health conditions,
Yes.
but it's tied in with tied in with the dementia quite often.
Yes.
But equally had lots of positive conversations about the support that they've received through things like the Alzheimer's helpline, the dementia choirs and things like that that are
Yes.
set up around the country.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting that you've got those two. Dementia is a mental health condition,
Yes.
but actually it has a separate event.
Yes.
And one of the things that I also do is I'm a Dementia Friends champion. So I do dementia awareness sessions for people, and they get a nice badge and a certificate to say you are a
So
dementia
how do people?
So just contact the Alzheimer's Society. In fact, you can become a dementia friend yourself by just going onto the the Alzheimer's website and look for dementia friends on there. And there's a video. And
We're going to post all of this. We're going to send this stuff to Rachel.
To Rachel, yeah.
And she can post all of this stuff because we. And so, if any of you out there, and we've got to come to a close, but there are so many aspects that we haven't even touched
Well, it's a
on.
massive subject.
No,
we
it's
can't expect
massive.
to cover it in
No, but I think
45
I
minutes.
think actually you've offered hope for people.
Yeah.
Yes.
For many people who are out there who are suffering anxiety, not depression.
Yeah.
I think
But
there's
equally depression, there
Yes.
is hope.
Yes.
yeah.
But the first thing is to actually stand up and say, actually, I need support.
I need
Yeah.
support.
And I think that's possibly the most
That's
difficult step for anyone, isn't it? But I would encourage people to just take that step, go and see your GP, and actually start the process.
the-
I know that in itself is an issue, but start it now, because the sooner you start it, the sooner you'll get some help. But actually,
Don't just sit at
don't
home.
just sit at home and say, "Oh, it's probably nothing." Get some help, because it's so much better if you can get the help.
You mentioned to me the GP. You talked about people that you can contact.
Yes. So you can contact the GP as Sue mentioned, but there are also I've got information here.
Is there a helpline that people can
Yeah,
go
there
to?
are helplines.
Just give us a kind of
across the
information
piece.
here,
So,
and then we can.
Excuse me a moment while I get the right. So Alzheimer's Society have a dementia support line that's been available for a number of years now on 333 150 3456.
Say it one more time. Say it very
we'll
slowly.
put it. People
We'll put it
will
up,
put
but-
Danny.
We'll put it up.
Put
It's
stuff on the site.
0333 150 3456. And in terms of mental health, clearly you've got places like Mind, Anxiety UK have got a helpline service. The Samaritans, of course, if things are really, really difficult. And it's really important if that's where you are, that you seek help.
Yes,
Because there is help
absolutely.
out there.
There is help.
Yeah,
You know,
there is.
you-
Don't suffer in silence.
suffer in
Actually,
silence. Absolutely,
it's
yes.
when you
No.
seek the help.
It does take, and I'll tell you from personal experience, and I know you know that if you're in the job you're in, to actually ask for help,
Absolutely.
to say,
Really
to
difficult.
identify, because one of the things that within my business it was you couldn't say it.
Yeah.
You could, and in fact, I left that profession more or less, having nobody known that I'd had it.
No.
Because if you say so, they go, "Oh, if he goes on stage, is he going to have a breakdown? Is he going to start crying?" All this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So actually, they don't understand the nature of it, but they understand there's a stigma, and stigma is a major reason why people don't go. We're going to just run a little bit over, but I do think this is a major issue, isn't it?
Yes.
The stigma.
Yeah, and I think even for people of faith, whatever faith that
Yes.
is,
Yes.
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 one of my key areas of interest is spirituality and thinking about spirituality and how health professionals are not very good at exploring and enabling people to explore spirituality in its widest
Yes.
widest sphere,
Yeah.
whether it's who am I,
Yes.
why am I here,
Yes.
sort of questions,
Yeah.
not necessarily related to a particular organised religion
No.
or organised philosophy, etc. And people of faith, and I certainly have struggled with this as well. You have thoughts about, well, I shouldn't be, and generally speaking, should is a judgment.
Yes.
Could is a choice. Yeah.
Oh, I like
neatly
that.
said.
I
Very
like
s-
that. Say
very
that one more
neatly
time
said.
for us.
Should is a judgment,
Yeah.
and mostly a self-judgment,
Yeah.
but not always. And could is a choice.
Yes.
Okay.
So I shouldn't do. Could turn into, well, I could choose to do
Yes.
that, but I could equally choose to do that instead. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could choose to have this bar of chocolate, or I could choose not to. I could choose to have a piece of fruit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Choice is right the way along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's always choices.
Goodness.
Thank you, Paul.
That
Thank
was-
you, because
thank you.
from what you've shared, doing this kind of thing is a stressful thing for an introvert. So thank you
It
for
is.
putting yourself under that kind of pressure and coming into our wee small Steinway room with
It's
us.
enormous.
See,
It echoes.
it's massive, isn't it, Paul?
Oh,
I think you
absolutely.
must, those of you that have been in, must maintain the mystery.
It's
All right?
enormous.
I'm
absolutely.
speaking to you, you're 24 feet away, and it's a long way from me. But it's I would shake your hand, but I haven't got that long. My arms are just not that long. So do you know what I'm going to do? Why don't we play it on the piano?
Okay. I just want to say to Paul, people have really found what you've said really helpful.
Have they?
Really helpful. Yeah.
very
So
pleased.
thank you.
We'll
they've
go
really
over. I'll go over them.
Yeah.
And if you want to contact us, that's the other thing. Contact us this week about this. If you have questions for Paul, I'll relay them to him, and he'll get back to you. We're all on Facebook Messenger. By definition, we are. But I don't. Sometimes I just relay them to me, and then I'll relay them to Paul, because otherwise he'll be inundated. And as a professional, actually, you can't really get involved in all your cases. No. But equally, I think we're going to encourage you to go to the next step, which is to go to your GP, speak to somebody who you trust, who it might be within a church or within a faith organisation, and talk to them about how you're feeling. Yeah. How you're feeling. These are difficult times, and I see it's very interesting. Royalty have been highlighted as being, and I watched some dreadful Sky News report about Markle, Meghan, and they're obviously going to be divorced. They're clearly going, and this is going to create yet more mental illness for him. Who is clearly already struggling in a massive way, and the PTSD from his mother's death and all that. Yes. It's never really, if you look at his interviews, and all of that help that he's got, it's going to be something that he's going to have to constantly go back and address. And we didn't cover some of your life, but actually it was another time. And we'll come in, and I think that should be a good thing. Right, so what I'm going to do is, I think we're going to finish now, Sue, because we're late, and I'm just going to sing the first bit. And good night to all of you. And next week we're here. Is that right? We're here again. I think Rachel's here with us next week. And if you want to request a dedication,
I hope so.
then I would love you to send them in. I was meant to be singing it as well tonight, but we've run out of time for that
And
one.
also, God of the Moon and Stars.
Oh, for Carol. Carol, we will be doing it.
Sorry.
Carol, I
We'll
promise
do it
you,
for
it will
you
do in the
next week, I
first
promise.
bit next week, Carol, because I know Carol's been through a lot of illness recently, and probably has been, well, I know psychologically has been quite affected by this. And illness does bring us down.
It does,
You know,
absolutely.
Kidney disease,
It just
I was
wears you
depressed as
down,
hell,
wears you down.
That's as it is. So actually, all the time, it just wears you down. That's what I find with the diabetes. It's constant. It doesn't ever stop. My feet continually hurt. It's a continual pain thing that you're dealing with pain, and that just drags you down. Sometimes I find actually just concentrating on others, like you talked about.
It's a strategy.
It's a strategy of coping, and it just go peaceful in gentleness through the violence of these days. Very old school, this, isn't it, Sue? Hey, on the piano. Give freely, show tenderness in all your ways. Through darkness, in troubled times, let holiness be your aim. Seek wisdom, let faithfulness burn like a flame. God speed you, God lead you, keep you wrapped around his heart. May you
my love. Be righteous, speak truthfully in a world of greed and lies. Show kindness, see everyone through heaven's eyes. God hold you, enfold you, and keep you wrapped around his heart. May you be known, my love. We pray God keeps you this week, and this little talk tonight has inspired you to get help if you need, and to realise that actually it's not as bad as you thought. Or it may be a lot worse than you thought. So go and help, whichever way it works. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you. The Lord bless you and keep you, and give you his peace. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you. The Lord bless you and keep you, and give you his peace, and give you his peace. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord turn his face toward you. The Lord bless you and keep you, and be gracious to you. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you. The Lord bless you and keep you, and give you his peace, and give you his peace.
Thank you everyone for joining us. It's been so lovely having you here in the room with us, and thank you Paul for coming in, giving of your time and yourself to just help us all just to progress that conversation a little bit further along. But have a good week everyone, and we will see you next week.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Good night. See you. Bye, Paul.
Bye.
Bye.